So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Hitting welcome back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, September 30th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well. It is Wednesday, the 30th of September. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Every day we get a step closer to October. We are now 2 days away, right? I think there's only 30 days of September. So we are closer, getting closer to October, which is exciting news. Yesterday the Yankees got a big win. As you can see, I'm wearing my Yankees jersey again. This is not the same jersey I wore yesterday before you asked that. Yesterday I had my Garrett Cole jersey on. Today I got Aaron Judge on. Cole was dominant. Judge was dominant. Judge played very well, hit a home run early in the game. Cole was dominant, 13 Ks through 7 strong innings. Pitching for Garrett Cole, 105 pitches, 7 Ks, 13 strikeouts. Just a dominant performance by him and also a dominant performance by the offense. Although the offense didn't need to put up that many runs. They did not need to put up 12 of them. They did, but Cole pitched so well, they would have been fine if they would have put up 4 runs in that game. So, the Yankees hitting was dominant, Yankees pitching was dominant, Yankees overall were dominant yesterday. And I said this once again. I said this yesterday. My bracket is a what could be. This is the Yankees team we could see. And then it wasn't no pitcher. That's Shane Bieber, who a lot of people think will win the AL Cy Young Award. And already won a Triple Crown this year for pitching. Okay, a lot of people, some people might disagree with my bracket. I'm doing on what could be. If this Yankees team we see day in and day out, this is an unstoppable Yankees team. Voit had a nice hit. Gardner home run. Judge home run. Stan home run, right? Gleyber Torres home run. Right? The amount of players. LeMahieu had a nice game. He had a solid game, right? The amount of players, the amount of talent we have on this team is insane, and that's why I made my bracket. If we do that every night, we could win. And you might think, well, that's not gonna happen every night. Well, it has in the past. It happened for 10 straight days when the Yankees were on that 10-game winning streak. In the beginning of the season, it was happening. I think every single game we beat the Red Sox, I think we put up at least like 10 points or something, right? I mean, it's insane. The Yankees, that is the Yankees we could very well see. You're looking at the Yankees at their best, and that's putting up 12 runs, and their pitcher only allowing 2. I mean, it was just a dominant performance. Cole pitched amazing. Yankees was hitting. Today we have the MLB playoffs and the Yankees predictions. Playoffs, Yankees, and then predictions for today's games. Then we have the Titans outbreak. We're going to add a little bit of NFL action in here today. We have the Titans outbreak. NFL and the Steelers first Titans game was postponed. There's an outbreak on the Tennessee Titans. I said a tad bit on it yesterday. Was saving it for today because actually right before I started the pod it came out and I was kind of already set on my topic. So, I didn't want to all of a sudden have to switch up the topic. So talking about that today. And then finish off the podcast, we'll preview tonight's game for the New York Yankees. And that was it. So, obviously, like I said yesterday, it's now just going to be pretty much the Yankees in this final topic. So, and the playoffs and stuff. So, it is, the final topic's usually packed. Now it's really just the Yankees and stuff. So, with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So, yesterday was the first day of the MLB playoffs. The first wild card games for the MLB. For the MLB, the first wild card series games. Game 1 of the AL series started yesterday. Now game 1s of the NL series start today. So by the end of today, every team will play. There's 8 games on today, so you can't be complaining now you don't have anything to watch because there's 8 MLB games on today, spread it across from 12 o'clock and finishes at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So you have 10 straight hours of baseball, so you really can't be complaining that you don't got baseball. One game leads into another. You got a 12 o'clock game, then a 1 o'clock game, then I think a 2 o'clock, then a 3 o'clock, then I think a 5 o'clock, a 7 o'clock and a 10 o'clock or something like that. So one game leads into the next game. So you turn off a game, then you have another game to watch. So, you really can't be complaining today, and I'm glad that's the case. You really can't be complaining that there's nothing to watch in general. Sometimes during the weekdays there's not much on. I watch sports broadcasting channels and stuff, but there's not much on, like, sports-wise. Today, that is not the case. There's 8 MLB games on today, so it is a packed house today. There are games 2 p.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 10 p.m., and in the Yankees as well. So those are all the games today. So, with all that being said, let's talk about yesterday's playoffs game. So, like I said, I really liked it. I don't know about you. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the games yesterday. I think it looked good. And I know I've said this about multiple sports, but I think yesterday, I was a little concerned too, which is kind of because you think of MLB playoffs and then you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, there's no fans. We got to realize what we're really talking with here. I liked it. Yes, there's no fans. Yes, you're used to seeing the building rocking in whatever stadium you're in, whether that was the Indians for the Yankees, whether that's whatever stadium you're in. Whoever was playing yesterday, in a normal world, we would have a packed house. I really enjoyed it. I think the MLB did a phenomenal job. I like the artificial crowd noise. I know they've been adding that all season, but I liked that yesterday. The broadcasters were good. Overall, I liked the setup. I liked what I saw out of the playoffs. To kind of give it a review, I liked what I saw. I'm going to be a little bit more... I'm going to be a little more light on the MLB today now that the Yankees win, so I'm in a very good mood right now. If you notice that out of me, I'm in a very good mood right now as the Yankees did win, and we are now 1 game away, which is later on today, from the New York Yankees sweeping and going on to play the winner of either the Rays or the Blue Jays. More than likely will probably be the Rays, which is going to be difficult, but, we if we play like we did yesterday, even somewhat close to it, we can beat the Rays. So, but we don't want to think ahead already. We just got to win tonight's game. When I saw yesterday about the MLB was a lot of good. I saw a lot of good. I liked what I saw. I thought there was a lot of energy in the game. I found myself standing a lot. Baseball, you usually don't stand that much. Just because, not every pitch. I found myself standing for 80-85% of the pitches. I felt that, playoff baseball is just that little bit different added energy. Even as a fan, there's that little bit different added energy. Like, sometimes, during regular season games, I'll watch and I'll stand up every once in a while if a big hit's made. But yesterday I found myself standing up. And the only time I found myself really sitting down was in between innings. And sometimes in between innings, I would get caught up on the stats of the game or whatever. But it's just kind of funny that, like, I found myself standing a lot yesterday. I found myself, even without the fans, even without that really energy that the fans bring, I still felt like it was a real energized baseball game. I liked what I saw out of the Yankees, to be really tell you the truth. We can kind of get into the games. Yesterday's games, the Yankees won 12-3, Rays won 3-1, White Sox won 4-1, and the Astros won 4-1. Every game was a low-scoring game, and a lot of people said that the Indians-Yankees game was going to be the best pitching game of them all, and one pitcher showed up. Shane Bieber didn't. Shane Bieber was taking a shower in the 5th inning. He got taken out early, allowed 7 earned runs, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, only 4 2/3 innings pitched. I think really struggled. Not what the Indians envisioned at all, especially the way the Yankees finished the season. Their hitting was horrible. I mean, their last game of their season was a shutout. They had 1 day to travel, then they played on Tuesday. And a lot of people expected the Indians to win yesterday. I mean, that was just a true fact. I had the Yankees winning just because it's different playoff baseball. A lot of Yankees are very good in the playoffs. LeMahieu, Judge, if Stan could somehow turn it around, that would be amazing. But yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of good out of the MLB. Now let's get into the actual games. The Yankees did win. I saw a lot of good out of the Yankees. I talked about this a little bit ago. I saw a lot of good out of the Yankees. Judge played well. LeMahieu played well. Torres played well. Stanton struck out a lot, but he kind of covered up the bumps and bruises that he had yesterday with a home run. His performance was pretty dull, and he added some, his performance was pretty dark. He added some light with that home run, and that's the whole thing. You hit a hole, Stan went 1 for 5, so did Judge. So either way, the stats are exactly the same, right? Stan went 1 for 5, so did Judge. It's whether Stan hit in his last at-bat when it didn't really mean much. Judge hit it in his first at-bat when it meant a lot. Either way, the stats are the same. They both went 1 for 5. So, either way, what I'm trying to say is Stanton had a pretty bad performance, but he made it a little shinier with his home run. And it was a nice home run, too. It was a nice hard-hit home run. I think he hit it when it was like 10-2, which, I'm not, any runs you can have is good, but I would like them to save some of those runs for today's game. I'm not trying to say that we're going to need all of them. Hopefully Tanaka gives us a solid performance like Cole. If Tanaka can give us anywhere like Cole, I'm not talking 13 strikeouts, but if he can give us 1 or 2 runs through 7 innings, 8-9 Ks, something like Cole, and the Yankees hitting could do their thing, then we have this series pretty much wrapped up. But what I saw to the Yankees was they jumped on the Indians early. I really liked that. I like that a lot. They jumped on the Indians early. They jumped on them early in the first inning with a 2-0 lead. Cole took the mound with a 2-0 lead. That is the best thing you can do as a pitcher. You take the mound with a 2-0 lead. He took the mound with the lead already. You know how much, that's why Cole was able to really settle in. He was like, I still have a 2-0 lead. It's not like he was on the mound for a while and had a 0-0 lead and let us up a run. That could be the game. He went on the mound, a 2-0 lead, and when he got on the mound, the Yankees had all the momentum in the world. The Indians came out flat. The Indians hitting was flat. Like, Cole came out with all the momentum the Yankees had, and he was just flaming out. I think if the Yankees do that same thing today, they could very well win again. You get off to quick starts, especially in baseball. You get off to quick starts in baseball, that could very well be the game. You get off to a quick 5-run start, that could be the game, right? That could literally be the game. You score 7 runs in the first inning, that could be the game, right? You get off to a quick start, that very well could just set the tone. That's what it did. That Judge home run set the tone for the whole game, and the Yankees just dominated from there. Scores by innings, the Yankees scored 2 in the first, none in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, none in the sixth, 4 in the seventh. The seventh, they really, really put the icing on the cake. None in the 8th, 1 in the 9th. 12 runs, 15 hits, no errors. To the Indians, 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. That was one concern. A lot of people had the Yankees coming in. They had the most errors in baseball this year. They've had a ton of errors in baseball. They've had the most errors in baseball. They've had a ton of errors. They have had a couple, like 2 or 3 4-error games, which is not good at all. That was one concern about the Yankees. The Yankees did not make any errors. If anything, they made the opposite of that. There was a couple nice plays by the New York Yankees. I felt like, the Yankees really didn't have many areas to really have an error, though. They were basically just normal hit ground balls. If it was in the infield, it wasn't anything like where you had to dive for it or anything. The Yankees played clean defense. No errors. They cleaned themselves up. Cole got the win. Bieber got the loss. Obviously, Cole got the win. And really, I think one thing, if the Yankees, what they have to do today, they have to jump on them early. They did it yesterday. Look what happened. If they do it again today, that could very well be the series. So the Yankees have to jump on them early. They did just that. LeMahieu had 2 hits. They went 2 for 5. Judge went 1 for 5. There was 2 RBIs. Judge did strike out twice. The Yankees did have a good amount of strikeouts yesterday. You had, this is the thing, right? A lot of people say how bad. Stan didn't play well either. Judge played well, but Judge had 2 strikeouts as well, and so did Stan. There was a total of Higgy. Higgy, you might ask about Higgy. I thought Higgy played well. I don't think he played amazing. He played well. He did get himself a hit, which is better than Sanchez, but he played well. I think Higgy early on was a little bit of the playoff jitters. He had a couple bad swings in his first at-bat. A couple of swings where you really just wondered. I didn't wonder it, but there was I knew it. I knew it was probably going to come. The first playoff start, you're a lot of pressure's on this year. Maybe not at this moment, but in the beginning of the season, everybody had the Yankees winning the World Series. Maybe not now. People might not have them winning the World Series just because of how their season actually went, only finishing 6 games above 500. People now may not have them winning the World Series, but if you follow what I'm saying, I think Higgy was definitely a little nervous. I think his first at bat, he had a couple of rough swings, but I think overall Higgy played well. Higgy played well overall, I think. And there was some rumors too about the Yankees possibly changing the lineup for today. I don't agree with it. I think you do the same lineup again, right? You do the same lineup again. This lineup worked for you today, or yesterday. Why don't you do it again today? LeMahieu, Judge, Hicks, Voit, Stan, Urshela, Torres, Gardner, Higgy. A lot of people had controversy over why Gardner was starting. Gardner showed you why. Gardner went 3 for 5 with a solid performance. He hit 600 yesterday. Very good performance. He had a home run. He had a lot of key hits. He had a lot of big hits. He had 3 RBIs. He went 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored and only 1 strikeout. So he had a big game. So did Gleyber Torres. He went 4 for 4 with a walk. Urshela 1 for 4. Out of all the performances, he probably, he had a good game. He had a sac fly. He went 1 for 4. Voit went 2 for 5. Everybody in the lineup got a hit except Hicks. Hicks did not get a hit. He had 2 walks, 2 runs scored, and 3 at-bats and 2 strikeouts. He did not get a hit. Everyone in the lineup got a hit. LeMahieu had 2 hits. Judge 1 hit. Hicks no hits. Voit 2 hits. Stan 1 hit. Urshela 1 hit. Torres 4 hits. Gardner 3 hits, and Higgy 1 hit. So, over 90%, pretty much 90% of the line, 8 divided by 9 is, that's how much percent they got hits. So everybody in the lineup got a hit except Hicks, which isn't the end of the world, But the Yankees did play well, and I'm just very glad. I'm very glad. I think the Yankees came out yesterday with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. A lot of people do not expect them to really do much in the playoffs. They came out there cold dominated. Hitting dominated. Everybody was a little iffy on if their bats can come around the ball. They were really, that was one of their things in the second half, really, the end of the season, the final 3 weeks of the season. Everybody was like, what are we going to get out of the Yankees? Are we going to get the Yankees where they were only 1 game above 500? Or are we going to get at the beginning of the season Yankees where people were talking about them possibly winning 50 games? What Yankees are we going to get? Last night we got the beginning of the season Yankees. Hopefully we can continue that. So the Yankees did win 12-3, a big win for them. They go up 1-0 in the series, and I said this yesterday. 3-game series are odd. You don't usually see them in baseball, but 3-game series are also to the point where winning the first games is pretty big. Winning the first game, I forget what the percentage was. It might even be more in 3-game series because now all of a sudden it's an elimination game. It's not like in a 7-game series you lose the first game. It's not an elimination game. Now all of a sudden Indians have their backs against the wall. Like they're elimination. Like this is win or go home here tonight for them, right? So it's crazy. It is really crazy. The Yankees, I hope the Yankees win tonight. And I the reason I really want them to is because tomorrow's Haps pitching, and that could very well be a problem. So if the Yankees win tonight, we won't have to worry about tomorrow possibly Hap blowing it. So hopefully Tanaka does what Tanaka's done for his whole career in the postseason, and that has been almost unstoppable at times. So now we move on to the completed games yesterday. The Rays won 3-1. Blue Jays hung around. They just could not get their bats going. Pitching was fine. They just could not get their bats going. They only had 5 hits. The Rays actually had less hits than them, but the Rays did use the long ball. They just couldn't get their bats going against Blake Snell, which is reasonable. Blake Snell got taken out after 5 2/3, so they had their chance for 4 innings with the bullpen, and they could not get anything going. The Blue Jays did score 1 run in the 8th. They almost got the tying run. Randall Grigic, I think, hit a line drive right to the shortstop. It was an amazing backhanded play for the out. He hits that. If he doesn't make that play, it's a tie game, 3-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. Or whatever, bottom of the 8th, I think. So, obviously, tough. Blake Snell gets the win. Robbie Ray takes the loss. And Fairbanks gets the save. So, Blue Jays struggled, but, I think they do have to get better hits. There's some of their big bats. If I read off here, some of their big bats did not get a hit. Bichette, Grigic, Guerrero, some of their bats did not get a hit. Villar, some of their bats did not get, some of their big bats. Their big bats are these players. Bichette, Grigic, Guerrero, Villar, those players like that did not get big hits. Those big bats in the lineup were not able to get big hits, and I think that really goes to show you what happens when you don't get big hits in big moments of the game. As for the Rays, they had a couple players that, not many people know of step up. Margot stepped up. He got a home run. He went 2 for 3. Some of their big bats, too, didn't really play very, very, very well either, though. This was a very defensive game. It was a very low-scoring game. I mean, 4 runs were scored total, so, it was a little difficult for them. But the Blue Jays do have to play today against the Rays. They're facing elimination. White Sox played against the Athletics. There's really nothing I could say about this game except Lucas Giolito was dominant. He almost pitched a perfect game. It got broken up in the 7th inning. He got the win. They won 4-1, and one thing I noticed too about the White Sox is they jumped on them early. Same thing what I noticed with the Yankees. They were up 4-0 going into the bottom of the 8th. They scored 3 runs they scored 1 run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and then they scored 1 in the 8th. They were 4-0 going to the bottom of the 8th, and then the A's finally scored a run. But, it was too late. The A's only had 3 hits. That's the problem, too. The A's only had 3 hits. It's tough to score 4 runs on 3 hits. That really is. And Giolito kept down. I don't even know if Giolito walked anybody. He walked 1 player. So, what? The A's had 4 base runners yesterday? The A's had 4 base runners, I'm assuming those 3 hits, right? Because nobody got a home run, I don't think, on the A's. So, what? They had 4 base runners. Wow. That's not... Wow. So... Yeah, they struggled. The A's struggled. They could not get a win. And the White Sox jump on them. Right? And I said this yesterday. I think this is I think if you're going to pick an upset, it's going to be the White Sox over the A's. I mean, if you've seen the White Sox play, they've got big bats and they've got pretty good solid pitching. So, this is definitely a game for the White Sox. This was a big game for them to win. The A's bats were cold, and then the White Sox ended up winning. Cold against one of the better pitchers on that team is difficult. So the Astros-Twins, this was a game where I was just mad about. I was mad. The Twins had the lead the whole game. Then come top of the 7th, it was a tie game going into the top of the 9th. Throwing error by the Twins, which costed them the game. A throwing error by the Twins, and 3 runs were scored by the Astros. Astros win. They go up 4-1 against the Twins. And I have an odd feeling the Astros might win today because I think the Twins are just so angry and just so mad about that loss. They had the game. Like, right? He made, I think Polanco was the one who made the bad throwing error. You make that play in that game, you go to the 9th inning with your big bats up, you have a chance of winning. And the Astros bullpen isn't their specialty either. You have a chance of winning with their big bats up. And it's a tie game, too. And you don't get it there, then all of a sudden you go into the bottom of the 10th, you already have a runner on second. So there's an easy chance to score a run. I don't like that rule, but that's why I don't like that rule. It's a runner that the runner the team didn't earn is on second. And I don't like it. I hate it. So, yeah. So, Astros win. And the Twins, I'll tell you what, the Twins really have to watch out because, they have to watch out there. So now we move on to today's games. And today's games, alrighty. So the Yankees play against the Indians, Braves against Reds, Astros, Twins, Marlins, Cubs, White Sox, A's, Blue Jays, Rays, Cardinals, Padres, Brewers, Dodgers. I'll go through. I think I'm going to win. Obviously, I'll preview the Yankees game in a little bit, so I'm not going to do the Yankees game right this second. But the Reds or Braves, first game up for today's slate of games. I think the Braves will win. I said this yesterday. I think they'll win the series. I got Braves winning this game. Astros, Twins, this is going to be another close game. I think the Twins, even though what I just said, I do think the Twins will bounce back. Here's my whole deal with it. The Astros won that game due to a throwing error. You eliminate those errors today, the Twins win a game. So Twins win. Marlins, Cubs, the third game on the slate. I give the Cubs a win. I said this. I think the Cubs will pretty easily win this series. I just don't know if the Marlins just have the pitching and the hitting, the power to really match the Cubs. Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, Kyle Hendricks, players like that, Yu Darvish, guys like that. I just don't know if the Marlins have that firepower to match them. I give the Cubs the win. We have the White Sox, A's. I saw a lot of good stuff out of the White Sox yesterday, but I have to pick the A's here. I did pick them in my bracket, so I still do think they could very well win. I think the A's will win today. I'm not even just doing that just because I picked them in a bracket. There is no Giolito today. Outside of Giolito, the White Sox pitching staff is pretty good. Not Giolito good. Outside of him, this A's hitting I think will take over this game. A's win this game. It's Dallas Keuchel going for the White Sox, and it's Dallas Keuchel going for the White Sox. So, he's not bad. A's don't have a great pitcher either, but I give the A's the win. Keuchel's good, but not as good as Giolito. I think these white A's pitchers might jump on. A's hitters might jump on them. And then later today, we got the Rays and the Blue Jays. This should be a very, very fun game. It should be an interesting game. Blue Jays are up against the wall. I give the Rays the win. They got Tyler Glass now going. I hope the Blue Jays win because I'd rather the Yankees have to play the Blue Jays than the Rays. So I hope the Blue Jays win, but I do see the Rays winning. Blue Jays do have Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound. Should be interesting. Padres, Cardinals. Padres are starting Chris Paddock today. Cardinals are not going with Flaherty. Cardinals aren't. Padres are going with Chris Paddock. I give the Padres the win here. As a matter of fact, I think the Padres are going to have a good game. I think the Padres will win. I think they're hitting, and their pitching will take over. I have the Padres winning. And then the Dodgers and the Brewers. Walker Buehler is on the mound for the Dodgers, and is on the mound for the Dodgers. And I did not mean to press that. Is on the mound for the Dodgers, and Suter's on the mound for the Brewers. I give the Dodgers the win. Walker Buehler is a very good pitcher, and they have a very good hitting lineup. So these are my picks for today. Braves winning, Twins winning, Cubs winning, A's winning, Rays winning, Padres winning, Dodgers winning. Those are my picks for today's game. So, alrighty. So now with all that being said, we now move on to our next segment, which is a Titans outbreak in the NFL. So this is the first outbreak for the NFL. This is their first outbreak they're really handling. So it is going to be interesting to see what they do. There is a report that came out about what has happened with them. So we'll talk about that coming up here. Alrighty. Alright. So it's loading up here. No, it might just be me. I just don't like technology when it's slow. Not a big fan of technology to begin with. Like, technology, phone stuff. Like, if you follow what I'm saying. It's just so slow. I don't know if you guys notice that as well. It's just so slow. Maybe it's just my phone. I don't know. It's just so slow. Like, it slows. I just wasted, 3 minutes there trying to get this loaded. So, anyway. Alright, so, so the, it'd be amazing if this would work. Come on, there we go. All right, so Steelers versus Titans Steelers versus Titans to be played Monday or Tuesday after COVID-19 outbreak. So so I'm gonna get into the whole game playing on Monday through Tuesday, and I'm gonna first get to the whole Titans outbreak. So I said this in the beginning of the season. I was a big person in this. I was on my podcast. I've said this multiple times. I thought the NFL has done an excellent job with the virus. I know there's an outbreak, but I've thought this whole way through they've done a better job than the MLB. The MLB struggled in the beginning. NFL has not. I also think that's because the NFL has been able to take a little bit from each league, and I think that's a good thing. They've been able to take a league failures, and they've been able to take a league's positives, and they've been able to kind of work those out and be like, okay, we'll try to put as many positives as we can put into it. So I think that's what they've been doing, and I think that's why they were so successful, because there is, out of the four major sports leagues, the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB, they are the last week to start up. I mean, they didn't restart. They're starting now. They're probably the last week to start. So during this virus. Obviously the NHL is the first league that is done. They were very successful. They are done. Lightning win. And the same thing with the NBA. The NBA is in the finals right now. MLB is in the playoffs, and the NFL is just starting. So far, the NBA and MLB and the NHL have been successful. MLB's been it's been a little rough, but the MLB's gone to the playoffs. They're in the bubble. More than likely, there shouldn't be any shutdowns unless if somebody breaks the bubble and cases come in there. But this is the first little roadblock. You're not going to be perfect playing during the virus. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be perfect playing during it. You're not going to expect 0 cases. I mean, you can hope there's 0 cases. When every day you hope that there's 0 cases across the world, that this virus just goes away. That's your hope, I'm sure. I don't know. It would be stupid if you want this to hang around. You would be very stupid to think that, or to be, I want this virus to hang around. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants the virus just to be gone already. I think anybody who is normal wants the virus to be gone already. I don't know why anybody wouldn't. But that's just the expectations. You're going to expect maybe a couple positive cases here and there. This is the first outbreak the NBA has, or the NFL has had. And we're going to see what the NFL has in store to fix it. Okay? I've said this at the beginning of the season, right? Not that we want an outbreak on any sport league, but it's going to be interesting to see if there is an outbreak, because more than likely there's going to be at least one. Especially if you're not doing a bubble, there more than likely will be at least one outbreak. I want to see what the NFL does here. We're not really seeing it quite yet because it's only Wednesday. But by Saturday, we'll really see if they're doing a good job. I want to see what the MLB does. It's been a smooth road so far. It's been very smooth. The road's been pretty smooth. They just paved it. And now they're hitting a little bit of bumpy part, which is not the part of the road where they haven't finished paving. They're hitting the bumpy part. This is their first little bump they got to get over. All right, they've got to get over this, right? Because you don't want this to translate into other stuff that translates into even worse. So they got to get over this. So the NFL, whatever they do here, I want to see what they do. Because I want to see, is it going to be like the MLB where their first outbreak they're really going to fail with? Or is it going to be like the MLB where their last 2 outbreaks they were back on the playing field in 4 days? Okay, the Sunday game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers was postponed. It's either going to be played on Monday or Tuesday. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I said it's a season unlike any other. You're playing during a virus, right? It's going to be a season unlike any other. Here's the whole deal, though. I said you might see some odd things. You might see a game being played on Wednesday. You might see a game being played on Tuesday. You might see a game Friday night. You might see some odd stuff. You might see, a team play on Saturday, right? You might see some odd stuff that you don't see in a normal NFL season, right? You might see some odd stuff. Right? You might see a team play in the afternoon of a Wednesday. You just might see it. You really might. Is that going to happen? I'm not sure quite yet. It might just be played Monday night. But there is going to be nooks and crannies. It is what it is. You're playing in uncertain times. It's an uncertain season. It's a season you really just don't know what to expect from. It's going to be odd. It's going to be odd, and there's no other way around it, right? So you have to watch out. And the Steelers and Titans, obviously, the Steelers, and this is where I feel bad for the team that, I hope all the players who have the virus on the Titans, no cases so far, which is very good news for the NFL. On the Vikings, who just played the Titans, hopefully everybody on the Titans will be able to recover quickly and come back out on the playing field whenever their next game is, or, whenever the next time they can. Hopefully they all get better soon, and the Titans can get back onto playing football very soon as can be. That's your whole goal, right? So I've always said this too, is like, as a fan, it stinks, when your favorite team has an outbreak. The Yankees luckily didn't, but I have had to go through postponements due to other teams having an outbreak. The Yankees got the Yankees got postponed, I think, once or twice due to an outbreak on a team. I forget who. I think it might have been when the Phillies did. I think they got postponed. Yeah, their game got postponed. They got 2 games that were postponed, and then they decided to play it at Baltimore. So it was kind of odd. I know how Steelers fans feel and Titans fans feel. It stinks because it's almost like you just don't know what's going to happen. But I do think the NFL will be able to pretty much get rid of this soon. And the reason I say that is because they've handled the beginning of the season very well, and now that it's time for them to hit their first road bump, and now they're like, now it's the time to really see if all these protocols they have in place are really working and are really the real protocols that they should actually use. So Steelers versus Titans to be played Monday or Tuesday after COVID-19 outbreak. Week 4's game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans has been postponed because of the Titans' recent COVID-19 outbreak. The NFL announced the game is set to be played on Monday or Tuesday instead. ESPN's Diana Rossini was the first to report the NFL is considering all options to reschedule the game, and that Monday night was potential option depending on the test results of the Titans. Monday night game is not bad, right? You play Monday night, yeah, it's 1 week of practice, it's one less day of practice the next week, but you got to deal with it. 3 players and 5 staff members test positive for COVID-19, a series of results that came back Tuesday. The Titans and Minnesota Vikings, Tennessee's Week 3 opponent, both shut down operations as a result of the outbreak. Tuesday's round of testing confirmed one more positive test for Titans player per NFL Network's Tom Persillo. This is the first major test the NFL has faced during the regular season regarding COVID-19. The preseason and the first 3 weeks of regular season essentially went without incident, with the Atlanta Falcons quarterback A.J. Terrell is the only player to go down a reserve COVID-19 list over the first 3 weeks of the season. It was always like some level of an outbreak could happen during the season. The NFL has around 2,000 players to go along with hundreds of coaches and other team personnel. Even with strict protocols in place, employees are essentially allowed to go about their normal daily lives outside of football. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said the positive tests were not unexpected, and that the league accepted some players and personnel were likely to contract COVID-19 as the league progresses. How the NFL handles things going forward will be interesting because there is a clear competitive advantage involved. The Titans were not allowed to hold in-person team activities until at least Saturday, whereas the Steelers were allowed to move forward with things as normal. We don't have a lot of definitive answers about long-term what the prognosis look like, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin told reporters. We've been given a mandate to prepare as if the game is going to be played on time. So that is our mentality. We'll take it day by day. I don't think this has popped up in any of the talks, but I kind of just thought about this now. This hasn't been rumors. I just kind of thought of this. If it can't be played Monday or Tuesday, it could very well possibly be played during one of these teams' bye weeks. So, which stinks, but technically this week would be a bye week for the Titans. So, technically. My whole thing here is this going to affect fantasy football? That's my thing. Is this going to affect fantasy football? Because if you're playing fantasy, Tuesday the games are usually done. And then you got Wednesday, right? I don't know. Is this going to affect fantasy? Like, do you put in your fantasy? Do you put it, like, what if he plays Wednesday? Does that count for the week or no? Like, it's so weird. We've talked openly throughout this process that 2020 is going to have its challenges. Gotta be light on our feet, be ready to adjust, and have a hardcore plan. We're ready to live that out. We understand the uncertainty, but we've got to have a level of professionalism and singular focus in spite of that. The Steelers and Titans both enter this week 3-0 as the result of their game could have seeding implications for the 2020 postseason. So they're going to have to get this game in. It's just a matter of when and how. I think it's the whole goal. And people said this too, the MLB didn't expect it to be, or the NFL didn't expect it to be perfect. I don't think anybody does. When you're playing during a virus, it's just, you can't expect it to be no cases, we're going to be perfect, we're going and we're going to be perfect. You hope, that's your hope. You hope you run into no errors like this. You hope you run into absolutely no roadblocks, and you hope that, your hope is, I know I've said hope a lot, but your hope is, is that you don't have any cases and you could just play the season as normal as possible. That's obviously your whole goal. So the Titans will not play Sunday. Neither will the Steelers. Vikings is still up in the air. So I'll tell you what, man. It's so odd because we might be watching football. There might be a football game on Tuesday. But what network's gonna have that? Because on Tuesdays baseball's on as well. You might get a CBS or something that has it. We might see a 1:00 Tuesday day game. We might see a 1:00 Tuesday day game. That's what you might see. You might see it. You might see a Tuesday day game at 1:00. A little noon football action. That's just so odd. It's going to be so odd. But hopefully this all gets resolved quickly, because even though I'm not a fan of the Titans or the Steelers, not that I hate them, they're not my favorite team. Even though that it affects everybody in some way, shape, or form. It does, because then if it gets postponed, then in the MLB, for example, one team gets a case. Then look, like the Titans get a case. Now who affects? It affects the Steelers, who had nothing to do with this. Who had absolutely nothing to do with it. Now it affects the Steelers. So that's what stinks. That's why even though I'm not a Titans fan or a Steelers fan, I'm hoping this gets solved quickly. Also, because I'm just hoping that football just goes as planned, right? Because also, then it affects every team in some way, form, right? Because then, like let's just say you can't play this week. Then it affects the team you're going to play next week. Or then it affects later on in the season. Like the Steelers had nothing to do with this virus, and look, they're getting affected. Same thing with the Vikings, right? They're getting affected, right? Random teams get affected. Now the team that the Vikings may have to play, that might get postponed as well, because now the Vikings are affected. Like you start connecting the dots, almost every team can get affected by one incident. So that's where I just hope that this gets resolved quickly, and I hope the NFL has a plan. The NFL's plan so far has been very good. Hopefully their plan for an outbreak is very good, just as good as how it's been working for them. So they do have to wear these little button thingies, and it beeps every time you're closer than 6 feet. It's contact tracing, so they should be able to use contact tracing to figure out who was closest to, we don't know the players, but who was closest to the player on the sideline or even just at the facility, whatever, by the time he tested positive. So those are those little thingies. I don't know if they have to wear them on the field, because on the field they'll be beeping like crazy because you're on the line and stuff. You're not, so it's going to be interesting. I just hope that this gets solved quickly and the Titans and Steelers get back on the field quickly. Even though they're not my favorite team, it does affect a lot of teams. Because look, the Titans have an outbreak. That affects the Vikings, who then affects the Vikings' opponent. And then the Titans, they affect the Vikings. They affect the Steelers. The Vikings affect their opponent. Like, look, see how it affects it. Like, one team gets it affects 3-4 different teams. So it does. It's not good at all when you get a virus like that. So hopefully it all gets resolved quickly, and the Titans and the Steelers can get back out there on the field within, I'm not saying the next couple of days, but by Monday. Obviously the goal, because a couple of days from now is like Sunday. So hopefully they can get back out there on Monday, which was their plan. So, we'll see. Like I said, we're really going to see what happens with this plan. Is their plan with the virus good? What is the deal, right? We're going to really be able to see that. So, yeah. So, now we move on to the Yankees game tonight. Yankees play tonight, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yankees versus the Indians. Tanaka versus Carrasco. Tanaka, you can make the argument he's one of the better playoff pitchers in all baseball. Hopefully he can continue that. Progressive Field, Cleveland. Some of the injuries for the Yankees: Tommy Kahnle, obviously, Paxton, Heller. Odds, the over-under is 8.5 for this game. I think the Yankees, obviously, the Yankees, if we come out, and I said this earlier, if we come out like we did, if we come out like we did last night, with firing, and this is what I'm going to say today too. Yes, we have to come out today like we came out yesterday, and that is coming out, getting in a lead early, because you want to know what you did? The Yankees had the Indians early in a hole. Early in the game, they had them in a hole. In a hole early in the game. They were already down 2-0 before they even were able to get up at bat. They were already down 2-0. Right? The second batter of the game, they were down 2-0. Before the third hitter came up, they were already down 2-0. That's the worst. That's like the first two hitters scoring. That's the worst thing that could possibly happen for a team. Yankees have to do that now. Even if it's just scoring one run in the first inning, you send your pitcher out there with a lead. It helps the pitcher out so much. You don't want to wait and score in the 8th inning when it's too late. Right, you wanna score early, jump on them early, get them rattled in their heads, and really do something. I think the keys to the game is, I know this might sound crazy, but you have to stop Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor for the Indians yesterday was a triple shy of hitting for the cycle. He had 3 extra base hits. He had 2 doubles and a home run, and I think a single as well. I mean, he was just phenomenal yesterday. He also made a couple nice plays in the outfield. Tanaka's got to stop him today. He dominated Cole yesterday. He was the only bright spot for the Indians. He was the only one to hit off of Cole. Now He cannot hit off of Tanaka. Tanaka's got to pitch well today. That's another thing, too. Tanaka has to pitch well. Tanaka has to pitch like he has been for the past couple years in the playoffs. And it's the truth. Tanaka's got he's one of the best playoff pitchers in baseball. Something about him, I don't know if it's just I just don't know if it's just how he is or what it is with him. There's something different with him in the playoffs. He's a completely different pitcher. He's average in the regular season to below average to could be the best pitcher in the postseason at times. He's just unbelievable. He can stop teams. He pitched well against the Astros when they were cheating all those times. So, obviously he's just Tanaka's got to go out there and just pitch well, and the hitting's got to back him up too. Hitting backed up Cole last night. You got to do same thing for Tanaka. So the Yankees hitting needs to do well. If the Yankees can do somewhat of what they did last night, I think the Yankees win today like 7-2-ish. I think it's going to be a closer game. I don't think they're going to put up 12 runs again. Sure, put up 12 runs. I think it's going to be like a 7-2 game. I do think the Yankees win. I think the Yankees actually jump on them early just because I think the Yankees are going to have that adrenaline. They're going to have the momentum from last night's game. I think they're going to come in hyped, and I think they're going to win the game, like 7-2. So I take the over on the over-under of, 8.5. So the Yankees, hopefully, we win this game. If we win this game, we don't got to worry about playing a game 3 with Happ on the mound, which Happ's pitched well to end the season, but it's completely different in the playoffs. So hopefully we can win tonight. Go Yankees. Should be fun. A lot of other games today as well. Like I said, there's 8 games today. So, like I said, I don't think there's a game. I think the game. Or what I said, there's 8 games on. You don't have to complain. Like I said earlier on in the podcast, you don't got to complain. You don't got to complain at all about the games. You don't got to complain about the games today. So, Yankees, they put up big hits last night. They got to do the same thing today. They got to put up big hits and big moments and get some big runs. Let's hopefully they could do that. Cole actually was in the record books of last night's game. Game 1 is in the books. They won 12-3. Big win for the Yankees last night. We got to do the same exact thing tonight. Let's win this game. 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Win this game, and then we don't got to worry about tomorrow playing a game 5 or playing a game 5, playing a game 3. So let's win tonight, sweep them, and move on to the division round. Should be a lot of fun. Go Yankees. What are we at? We can wait a little bit, I guess. What are we at? 46. 47. Or 47 minutes. So, we're at 47 minutes. So, yeah. So, kind of quick update on tomorrow's podcast. Tomorrow's podcast will be the Yankees game, playoffs for the MLB, and then the Jets play tomorrow night as well. They play a Thursday night game tomorrow. So, that should be a lot of fun. So, obviously, the Yankees play today, Jets play tomorrow, and hopefully the Yankees don't have to play tomorrow. Hopefully we can just get the win tonight and move on with the postseason. So that would be awesome. I'm just trying to think. Tomorrow is Thursday night football and stuff. We'll talk about the Yankee game and stuff like that. And then Friday will be, the game picks. Like I said, the NFL game picks. That's Friday's Football Friday, I like to call it. College game picks. MLB game or not MLB. I'll probably be doing the MLB game picks as well because it's postseason. So I'll be doing I'll just do the Football Friday. Friday's the Football Friday. So tomorrow we'll be talking about the Yankees game from today, or for today's game, and we'll also be previewing the Jets game. And then Friday will be the Football Friday, the NFL game picks, and then the NFL game picks, and just overall talking about heading into the weekend of football, college football game picks. There's a couple big games in college football. I know Auburn, Georgia at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. That should be a very good game. I know there's a lot of good games for college football, so should be fun. I'm excited. I know the NFL has a couple good games this weekend as well. But overall, it should be another good weekend of football. So that's kind of just your kind of your intake of what I'm going to talk about the next couple of days. So we're sitting at Wednesday, so tomorrow's Jets game, Yankees game from today, and then the rest of the playoffs, and then Friday will be a Football Friday. So that's exciting. So Yeah, so what are we at? 49 minutes. So enjoy the Yankees game tonight. Go Yankees, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. And like I said too, it ain't just the Yankees are on today. There's 8 other MLB games. So flop, switch from this. Yeah, I know there's ESPN, ABC, TBS. I'm pretty sure Fox. So switch, flop around. I think is Fox got them. I don't know, but yeah. So. Flop around, switch, move channels, whatever you want to do. Watch all 8 of the games if you want to. Another packed day of baseball ahead of us, which is exciting. So, yeah. So that's what I got. So, go Yankees. If you want to watch the Yankees tonight, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. ESPN again, and should be a lot of fun. So, yeah, with all that being said, that's what I got for the podcast today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your day with all baseball again. And go Yankees. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.